I love dressing up. I love expressing myself through clothing, and I love that I have a job that allows me to do that without it looking weird. Because if I wore anything that I wear, like on an average day through the street, everyone would be like, "What's she doing?" But here, it just makes sense, right? So I get them on mostly online, but some of my best suits that I wear throughout the cruise, I actually bought in Houston. I had 2 days off in Houston, and I went to a place called Willowbrook Mall. Some of y'all heard of it, yeah. There's a little boutique there called Q Fashion, and they, like, 4 of the suits that I wore this week are from there. It was insane. I walked in and I was like, that question mark suit I wore, the suit I wore to Elegant Evening the other night, the suit I wore on the first night of this cruise, all from there. Amazing. I wish I could go back. Yes. Do I know Emma Nixon? I do, yeah. Emma Pack now. No, so she had a baby. She got a little baby girl now. Her husband, Mike, is now like my boss. So he works in the office. He's the cruise director trainer. We have about 11 or 12 brand new first contract cruise directors. So it's his job to ensure that they know what they're doing and to hold down the fort. And Emma has gone back to teaching. She was a school teacher before she was a cruise director. So now she's teaching at school. She teaches drama and English. And they got that little baby, started their little life in England together. Very sweet. Yeah. Yeah. I'm from Australia. Well, technically from New Zealand. It's complicated. I was born in New Zealand, raised in Australia, sound like I'm from Texas. You figure it out. Hi.
I use some TikTok.
Oh, we were together. We were beside each other. He said, "How did you get the announcement from the captain?" Because I was right after him. Because we were together. I went up to the bridge. We were there. There's a place in the bridge called the control center. So the front part of the bridge has to stay dark all the time so that they can see the ocean, see what's going on. But behind the bridge, there's a little room that is the emergency control center. So we went in there, and we can turn the lights on in there. And there is a full folder of announcements that we have to, that specifically say what we have to say in that event of that emergency. So we looked through the folder, we agreed on what to say. He said his first, I said mine second. It is carnal protocol that I repeat what he says, just in case everyone's like, I don't understand his accent. So I'm not being rude, I wasn't being mean, I promise. It's just what we have to do, okay? At the back over there, yeah. Did I know Malcolm? Yes, I do know Malcolm. He is a very good friend of mine. I love him to pieces. He was actually one of my last cruise directors before I got promoted. He is a fantastic human. Is he okay? He's fine. He's working in customer service in Seattle, living with his mama, living his best life. He's gonna be, oh, well, no, that's Matt Mitchum. Love Boat. The Love Boat. Matt Mitchum will be on there. They do kind of similar height, but yeah. Malcolm was the cruise director on the Splendor for like 3 years, and then he was here on, well, no, he was on the Freedom in Galveston for about 2 or 3 years as well. Yeah, at the back. Hi. Okay, so a cruise director should typically do a contract that's about 4 to 5 months max because of the intensity of the job. They typically try to do that. My contract, this one, will be 7.5 months, just because we have a shortage of cruise directors. A lot of the cruise directors left when we came back into service, so they're now trying to fill up the spots. So I'm going to be doing 7.5. Typically, should only be doing 4, but the assignment of ship is dependent on your demographic and what relates to you the best. When you first become a cruise director, you'll notice that they hop around a lot. They do all different kinds of ships, and that's so that they can find and the office can find what demographic responds to that particular person the best. And then there's a person in the office that analyzes all that data and then looks and says, okay, maybe you'll fit here, and then you get a bit of a longer contract. So I've been here for the past year, and I was actually supposed to stay here for 2 years until they released the Australia ship, and they were like, you know what? You'd be better in Australia. So I'm going to move to Australia in November 19, and I'll be there for the next 2 years. Yeah. But there is a person in the office, and their specific job is to analyze that data and make those changes and all that stuff. Yeah. Hi.
Everywhere from us, just from Texas.
Do I know what it's like to work as a nurse? I know that they work incredibly hard, and they are the unsung heroes of the ship for sure. There's a fun fact: the ship can actually sail without a captain. It cannot sail without a doctor. For real. But we have like 4 people on the ship that can drive the ship. Only 1 person can do surgery. So, it's facts. I wouldn't say I know exactly, like, from my own experience, what it's like to work here as a nurse. There's 6 of them. They work really hard. And that's about all I can tell you. But yeah. Well, you go and ask them. They're open. Go and say hi. Hi. General, because that would be annoying. The general announcements. Imagine if you were taking a nap and watching a movie and I was like, bing bong, by the way, we got bingo. I think they might hate it. I don't know. The idea that I really like, and that John Heald has actually promoted as well, is being able to switch a switch that says, I want to hear the announcements in my cabin. I think the logistics of doing that would be really difficult. So I think that's probably why they haven't done it. But yeah, it's mostly just for you and your silence and your patience or whatever. Like, we make the announcements in your cabins when we need to, but we don't do it all the time because it would just be, people would find me for sure. Over here. Hi, yeah. You wave. Yes, you, sir. I can see it. Hi. There are people on the ship that everyone is required to speak English to a certain level. To be able to board a ship, you have to have English to a certain level. To be able to be promoted in certain areas, your English does need to get better. But what they have on the ship is the Learning Resource Center. And there's an entire team of 4 people that are devoted to training the crew in computer systems, in English, in different things. They teach them so many cultural things. They have different trainings on American people versus their own countries and that kind of stuff. Like, there's a whole center that's just based on training and that kind of stuff. So if they want to move up in their job, specifically dining room and housekeeping, they have to complete certain English levels to be able to move up in their job. Yeah. Still time. Are we ever going to do the hairy chest contest? Look, that is the begging question that everybody asks. Also, the quest. Everyone always says, when are we going to get quest? Look, it's 2022. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody has something to say. And I will say that the hairy chest contest and quest are not always the most politically correct activities. Exactly. So until we can make it something that's fair for everybody and creates an equal, even environment where everybody feels comfortable, then that's when it will come back. At the moment, as it is and as it was standing before, it was not the most inclusive activity. And until we can have a wet t-shirt contest as much as we can have a hairy chest contest, I don't think that's going to happen. Hey. I would say it comes from both. If you have an idea of what you want to do and you want to put that into practice, you do have to let corporate know. You got to let them know what you want to do. They put an outline out. They can say yes, no, go. All that has to come from them. But a lot of the ideas and what we do come from the people here on board. And then they just expand those ideas, put the safety nets and parameters around them, and then they put it out to everybody and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what you can and can't do. Safety, right? Yeah. Okay, you have the funny question. Okay, good, because I can't think of anything. Oh, I know. Honestly, I couldn't tell you whether the masks are going away or not. There have been rumors every now and then, but I don't think any of them are coming from a source of, actual wealth. I'm not sure. They're going to take masks away eventually. When and where, I'm not sure. It's actually not up to Carnival. It's up to Carnival Corporation. Once the big umbrella company says, okay, we can take them away, we feel safe and all good, then that's when we'll do it. Up until then, no. But yeah, I miss it too. Not that I ever wear mine. But over here. Hi. No. Do I know any? Caesar, do you know? Do you know how much water we use in a day? No. I can tell you that we have 10 days worth of water on board because we knew that this week there was potential that we would be affected by Mr. Ian running rampant around, right? So we had to check in and say, how much food do we have? How much water? How long can we last at sea if need be? And I was told by the captain that we have enough to last us 10 full days before we'll have to dock somewhere else. And I can say that we're not allowed to load on food and water in any port of call unless we're getting it from another ship. So we loaded on in Galveston in the United States, and that's part of like our legislation. And then if we're in, say, Cozumel and we need to get butter, we can't go to the store. We have to get it from the horizon. Weird. I don't know. Here, either one of you. Someone go first. Yes. Scissors, paper, rock. Hi.
That's good to know.
No, they're on the ship. So there's a team of, I think, 8 human resources people. 3 of them work in the human resources office. So they're like the guest services for the crew. And then the other 4 or 5 work inside the LRC. And there is one that's specifically the engagement specialist. So they are the people that make all the activities for the crew, the parties, all that kind of stuff. So that the crew have just as a fulfilling life off time as well as at work. So they're all on board and their entire job is for crew. They have no interaction with guests at all. Yeah. It's cool, right? I love it. Got me what? Yeah, come on, do it. It's a cool job. If I wasn't a cruise director, I'd probably do that. I see your hand. Okay, I'll take 1, 2, and 3, and then we gotta get started. Hi. Why did we switch from Coca-Cola to Pepsi? Ooh. I don't know. It's a corporate decision. Money, mostly, probably. Right? They have... I don't tell Coca-Cola to give them a better deal. I think that's about it. Pepsi, they have like every couple of years, they'll have a big meeting with all of them, with all of the providers, all that kind of stuff, and they say, okay, this person said they'll do it for this much money. Can you match it? If they can't, they're gonna go with the other person. Business is business, right? Over here. At the back, there was, hi. Can you get a tour of the engine room? Unfortunately, not right now. We used to do the Behind the Fun tour pre-pandemic, but because the masks are still in place, we can't have guests in crew areas for the moment until it is a mask-free zone, just for safety of the crew. Hi.
Okay, so
Final question. Make it a good one.
it is a good one. Okay, so on TikTok, I follow Captain Kate and her back.
She
So,
does.
do any of the crew on this ship have any random pets?
I wish. You know the reason why Captain Kate has a hairless cat? She made, so I love Captain Kate, great lady. So she made the point to her company that most of the captains out there, they're men. And a lot of them are married, and they're allowed to have their wives on and their families on all the time. So they have companionship. Like our captain here, Rosario Arena, he had his family on here for 2 months. And they left a couple weeks back. They were here the whole time. He was traveling with them. It was like his working and living at home, right? But she made the point that she doesn't have a family. She doesn't have a husband. She has no companionship on the ship. So she could have a cat. And it would be a hairless one. So it would be hyperallergenic. It wouldn't be affected to anybody. It wouldn't affect anything inside the area, the crew working area. And they said, you know what? Why not? Carnival no, we won't do that. I have said it for years though. I think it would be really fun for us to have a ship pet. We used to have a magic show that had a snake involved in it. So a couple of the ships had pet snakes years back. Yeah. Cool. So cool. So that was back in like 2010, 2011, 2012. They have not had anything since then because I'm pretty sure one of the snakes went missing. But yeah, unfortunately not on Carnival, but I do love that they allowed her to have her little kitty. So cute. So it's awesome. It's a great little pet to have on board. Alrighty, y'all. That is it. Thank you so much for your questions.